amogetšwe go Leihlo La Sechaba nna ke nna Lethabo le Joy la ga Mathato go shego mo bana khono re nyakišiša ditatofatšo ka motswadi wo a rego ngwana wa gagwe o ile a theiwa ka phošo goba yo a nago le mathata a go ithuta. Good evening and welcome to Leihlo La Sechaba. Tonight we investigate allegations made by a mother who says her child was wrongfully labeled as having a learning disability.
Toro ya motswadi e mong le e mong ke ha o bona ngwana wa hae a atleha bophelong ntle le tshitiso ya letho haholo dithutong tsa bona. Ho ba boima ho motswadi ha a sa bone ngwana a sebetsa hantle dithutong tsa hae, empa e ba bothata bo fetisisang ho ngwana e bang dithuto tsa hae di a sitiseha. Ba bang ba bana ba sitiswa dithutong tsa bona ka lebaka la ho sa tsebe ho bala, ho ngola le dipalo.
Class teacher am phonela am bitsa ka 2013 a re ngwana a progressive pile ka mo classeng, so o khopela gore ke tle ko sekolo he ke fitlha a mpotsa gore ngwana ha concentrate, ngwana a khone mmere kwa sekolo, so o khopela gore ke mise go di psychology.
If I see that the child has a learning disability or a learning difficulty, but mostly a learning difficulty which goes with an IQ, an intelligence score that is below 60, then they need to go to a special school.
There are facilities and there are educational environments that are suitable to those, but there are learners with disabilities and learning difficulties that can learn successfully in mainstream schools.
Re etetse sebaka sa Hammanskraal kantle ho Pretoria mo re kopanang le Magdalene Sekwati. Sekwati ke motswadi wa bana ba bane, mme e mong wa bana ba hae o kena sekolo sa bana ba ikgethileng.
Ngwana na tsena primary ko Mamelodi a ne le 8 years, a ira grade 2 ko Referral primary school. Ebe class teacher am phonela am bitsa ka 2013 a re ngwana a progressive pile ka mo classeng, so o khopela gore ke tle ko sekolo he ke fitlha a mpotsa gore ngwana ha concentrate, ngwana a khone mmere kwa sekolo, so o khopela gore ke mise go di psychology, go di therapy. A mpha borifi ka tsaya ngwana ka misa ko ba assessa ngwana ka boa le reporto ka mofa gore ba re ko assessment ba rile ngwana e sale o monyane mara teacher a mo fe chance a ka tla a tswela pele he mengwaga e ntse e tswela pele le yena ha ntsa hola a hola tlhaloganywa nkere ka semestre se na sengwetse mo reportong gore di difficulties tsa ngwana ke eng, ba ra khono go bala le ho ngwala a concentrate ka mo fa reporto ela mistress ola.
Re buisane le Zandile Shabangu eo e leng educational psychologist nako ya dilemo tse 10.
When a parent comes to me with a child, maybe they say that a teacher told them that their child could be presenting with a learning difficulty or a learning disability. My role as an educational psychologist is to do a full psychoeducational assessment to first verify if the teacher's observations are true.
Ho ya ka Shabangu, diteko tse etswang ngwaneng ke tsona tse tla hlalosa hore ngwana o lokelwa go kena sekolo se jwang.
If I see that the child has a learning disability or a learning difficulty, but mostly a learning difficulty which goes with an IQ, an intelligence score that is below 60, then they need to go to a special school.
Surprise ya seng a le dilemo tse 16 o ile a lekolwa ke ditsebi tsa thuto ho latela ka moo morutabana wa hae a kopileng batswadi ba mo fumanele thuso ka teng.
A ke no re bo ma 3 months a founa hape a mpotsa gore ke tle go sekolo o khopelo mpona he ke fitlha a mpontsha borifi go nkene le bona ka mo ntlong botla Department of Education gore ngwana o referralwa ko special school a go khona ha le se na ba se moetse mola a go irege gore o sa pallwa ka mantswe a mang, ebe ba ntirela di report tsa gore ngwana tshwanetse a ye special school. Ka nnete ngwana ke motsere ka misa special school ba motseya.
Re ile ra buisana le moelli wa Lefapha la Thuto profenseng ya Gauteng.
Re lefapha re na le badiri ka rena ba ba dirang mošomo o ba ba tswang sekolong ba tseba gore ba swantse ba lebelele eng ba lebelele eng jwale ngwana ga le ka mokgo ba sekolong ba ba botsa motswadi gore ngwano re bona kare ga sepele ka lebelo le leng gore re le lebeletse mo le sepelang ka bana ba bang ngwano o morago a se gore ha kwishishi o no ba le gore mohlomong o a tsamaye ka tsela e re naganang gore bana ba ba tsenang sekolo se ba tsamaye ka gona ke ka moo go ba le dikolo tša bona bana ba le barutiši ba bona ba e leng gore ba tlo ba kwishisha gore he ke ruta ka mokgo ke a tseba gore ngwano o tlo amogela jwang thuto e ke mo fang yona.
Surprise o entswe diteko tse mmalwa ho tloha ka selemo sa 2013 ke ditsebi tse fapaneng mme ditekong tsena di bontshitse ha ena le mathata a itseng a amang tswelopele ya hae sekolong mme ho tloha ka selemo seo o ile a kena dikolo tsa bana ba ikgethileng.
Ka 2015 ka thutha nna ka mabaka a ka gore ke nya go thutha ka tla mo Amanskraal ka nyakela ngwana space go phela ke special school to special school ka ba tlhalosetsa go sekolong gore ke tlo tseya ngwana ke misa rona Amanskraal so ke sekolo se se feng se nka misa ba re ke phela ba mirela transfer letter go tshegofatsong motho wa mafelelo ke boletseng le nna tax a gopola lebitso le hae mara o ntlhaloseditse gore ngwana a ka bana le chance ya go boela go mainstream school so ho fitla ka ntlhele o ba khopele ba mo assess and then ba bone gore progress ya hae e bjang.
Re ile ra buisana le mokgatlo o eseng wa mmuso wa Inclusive Education o dumelang hore bana ba nang le mathata a ho bala, ho ngola le dipalo ba ka kgona ho tswela pele sekolong sa bana ba senang mathata ana.
All children can learn irrespective of their abilities or disabilities or barriers to learning that they face. But what our government has done, there is this model of school that they call full service school. And I know the ideal is to ensure that all mainstream schools are designated full service schools. And the idea is that at full service schools, any child with moderate, severe level of support need or high level of support need can be supported at a mainstream school. So we definitely believe that there's benefit in learners learning in their own communities, at their neighborhood schools with their peers. That is where children learn best, not in a separate environment necessarily.
Magdalene o re o ile a leka le ho batlela moradi wa hae tjhelete ya mmuso ya dithuso hobane ho ne ho thwe ngwana wa hae a ka fumana tjhelete ena.
Ka re bjanong ka gore le re ngwana ka o bileng wa mo sekolong se a ona gore le ka mirela sasana a re aowa sasa ina bothata nna ke tla ntsha borifi wena wa ya sepetlele ka ya docteng he ke fitlha go docteng nna ke thusa ke doctor wa mokhalabe wa lekgowa a mputsisa le ena gore why o tlile le ngwana why o tlisa difomo tse ka motlhalosetsa a re o tsena kae ka mmotsa a re a go kgonagale fomo e re e tlatsa before ngwana a ya special school go irahetseng ka mo fa story a re doctor ya mathomo o bone gore a gona selo why go sekolong nna ba tlogela ngwana ba sa mo assess gore ba sa ire di follow up gore go iragalang ka rena ke itse a tlatsa ka mmotsisa ka re ba nna gona chance ya gore ngwana ka aka hola grant ena a re ya eng because a lwalo.
In order to qualify for a grant, the parent or the guardian or the foster care parent or the custodian of any child that is obviously under 18, it must be a child that needs full-time care because of a mental or physical disability. It must be a situation where the child needs permanent home care. There must be a medical assessment that verifies this information, that the child has a permanent severe disability. If you're talking about a mild learning disability, that is obviously not going to qualify.
Mme wa Surprise o re ho ya ka seo psychologist ya sekolo seo moradi wa hae a kenang ho sona a se buileng o dumela ha ho sena bothata ka moradi wa hae.
Nna ile principal ile mem o mongwe wa tlase e le ena therapy ka ba botsisa kere go na le ntho e ke sa e utlwisising le re ngwana last year wa sesitswang kere and then a zanka kry-a report ke utlwile ka ngwana motho ola a te karabela mo principal a re yena o lebetse go botsa principal se a fekone mo ngwaneng ka re mare nna ne ke nyaka report ke kgone kgotsofala bara wa o ska wa ra motswadi ngwana hao o shapo ke one of the students tse di leng gore re di khethile mo sekolong district e tlo mo assessa ngwana hao ebile a ka ya abete.
For example,
ka nako e nngwe ho thata ho motswadi ho amohela hore ngwana wa hao o na le bothata le kgaelo ya ho utlwa dibukeng tsa sekolo.
Ba matswadi no ra marngwano o ka re o tla loka dilo tsa go swana le tseo ge ba dire ba rena ba a hlahla tabe ba ra wano a re thuse motswadi tshwantse a tsebe gore se se bohloka gore ngwana tshwantse be sekolong ngwana tshwantse be sekolong a be sekolong sa maleba se e leng gore ke sona se tshwantse se morute something jwale ge e le gore a go dire ka mokgwa e ba bothata le rena re lefapha e fela re rotloetsa batsadi ba rena gore ge ba ba botsa ba re ngwana tshwantse a tsene sekolo mo plekeng e rileng ba tshwantse ba tšee maele ao ba ba fang ona.
Shabangu o re mosebetsi wa bona jwalo ka ditsebi tsa thuto ke ho thusa ngwana a kgone ho fihlella katleho.
The aim of us as educational psychologists referring a child to the right school is for them to reach their true potential. So if a child is not placed correctly at a school, it means that they did not reach their full potential. Developmentally, they were not able to get an opportunity to learn according to what they're capable of learning.
Surprise Kwati o sa le tlase dilemong mme ka ho ha re tlo hlahisa sefahleho sa hae. Re ile ra eba le monyetla wa ho buisana le Surprise ya bonahalang e le morwetsana ya bonolo haholo.
nako ke tlo thoma tsena na re sa ngwale na rona dlala di-sports no so ba buleletse re ira di-skills tsa di-nail and beauty and then bashimane ba ira ditena ba practice gore ba kgone wa and then no re ira ra ngwala re ira dibuka tsa grade 4 ba ruta ho apply gel acrylic gel and then re nokela le di-tips tsa di-nail ha ona di-grade ke junior le intermediate le senior nna ke mo intermediate ke me metse le ditori
Every subject how
ke English ntse right mara nna for nna ke bona ka ra se right ke nyako ya ko sekolong se se
le ha di raporoto tseo re di filweng ke Magdalene tsa moradi wa hae di dumelana ka hore Surprise o lokelwa ke ho kena sekolo se ikgethileng empa yena o dumela ha o sena bothata ka moradi wa hae.
O tsene grade R hona go the same school o tsene sub A go the same school he ile gore o ne le bothata go ya ka nna ke le motswadi nna ke nagana gore he ile gore o ne le bothata na ba tshwanetse ba mmone from go grade R or go sub A gore ngwana o ne le bothata bo boso ba mpitse ba mo tlisitse bjang go grade 1 a be a ya go sub B di-stepe tso tsotlhe tse di irang ke bana ngwana go mo godisa o boletse o tsamaile wa bona wa utlwa ge nkebe le gore sa le go bana le tse ding tsa dilo tseo ana o gore ke re ke ngwana o a senang bothata go ya ka nna a gona stage se e leng gore se ile sa ntlhakatlhakantsha mo yena ga gola ke ngwana o a utlwang go tshwana le bana ba bangwe ke ngwana wa tsamayang ke ngwana wa bonang and then gona banong o godile ke ngwana wa irang ke tse di irang ke bana o kgone go lebelela TV a o tlhalosetsa gore story go iragetseng o kgone go tetlhapisa o kgone wa peya go ya ka nna ngwana o a ne leng bothata dilo tse dintse tse di irang ke wa ka ngwana a ka se dira.
Lefapha la thuto le re bana ba jwalo ka Surprise ba etswa diteko tse keneletseng ke di-psychologist tsa lefapha pele ba ka romellwa le ho kena dikolong tse ikgethileng.
Motswadi tshwantse a tlhokomele ntho ya gore ha tshwanela go lebella gore yena o bona ngwana a sena bothata ka gore motswadi yena a kere ga a se morutiši a ka bona a no ba a bona gore mohlomong yena a ka kgona le gore a ka kgona go ruta goba o bona gore yena ngwana a ka dira gabotse ga a fihla ka kwa phapošing tša sekolo barutiši ba rena ba bona ka tsela ye nngwe jwale gore ngwana a se ka tlaišega ngwana a ska fetša ebile a hloile sekolo. Ke ka moo re dira gore bana ba ba jwalo re ba ishe dikolong tše e leng gore di tlo ba kwešiša, tše e leng gore barutiši ba gona ba ka se ba felele pelo, barutiši ba gona ba tseba gore tshwantse ba dieng. Ke yona ntho e re lebelletšego kudu. Motswadi yena a se ka lebelela gore aowa ke ile ka kua sepetlela dingaka di re ngwano a gona bothata. Dingaka tša sepetlela a se ngaka tša go lebelela gore ngwana o tlo dira jwang ka phapošing.
E bang ngwana wa hao o fumanwa a ena le bothata ba ho bala, ho ngola le dipalo, sekolo le lefapha la thuto di nka mehato e feng?
The first step is the educational psychologist, because we do a full assessment. We don't only look at the IQ of the child, we look at the scholastic performance, and scholastic performance, I mean the mathematics, the reading, and spelling. And we also look at the emotional part, which plays a role sometimes in a child presenting with learning difficulties. So we do a complete assessment, which gives us sort of a full picture of what the child may be presenting with. And before we even see the child, what we do, the first appointment is to sit down with the parents, where we take a full developmental history of the child before the child is born. That's very critical for us to understand.
E nngwe ya dingongoreho tsa Magdalene ka moradi wa hae ke hore o kena sekolo le bana ba bang ba holofetseng haholo.
We've heard parents ask this question many a times: isn't my child going to be affected by that child that is different and that is more severe, and my child is going to digress and become, like the other child? And this is the argument we have with special schools. So even if we have a special school and all the learners with Down syndrome are there, each learner still has their unique needs, and each learner has their individual learning potential. And so we also say that at special schools, we must look at that. We must look that the way we implement the curriculum should cater to the needs of the child, but also the learning potential of the child.
Bana le curriculum ya bona, le ba bana le curriculum ya bona, ka gore batho ba o ka se ba tshwantše, ka gore ba lekutswe wa kwala gore ba mathata bona ke mehuta ya bana ba ileng gore mohlomong ba iphumana ba le dikolong tše ileng gore ke tša bona, ba ileng gore ga ba kgone gore ba tsene dikolo tše nna le wena re di tlwaetšeng tša bana ka moka. Jwale ba ba lekola go be le bopaki ba gore wo o tla kgona ge re mošiše ka mo, o tla kgona re mošiše ka mo, jwalo le malwetši ga a swane.
Ba bang ba batswadi ha ba utlwisisi le ho hloka tsebo e batsi ha ho thwe ngwana o na le bothata bo itseng sekolong.
I don't think our parents necessarily understand very well. And our schools, our school communities, we really need to do a lot more work to make sure that when you tell a parent that your child has a learning disability or difficulty, that they understand what does that mean. And it's quite important, because the parent is the right holder. If the parent doesn't understand the support the child needs, how does the parent advocate that at the school level the child receives, the adequate support?
Ho ntse ho ena le kgaello ya dikolo tse ikgethileng ka hara naha.
We certainly don't have enough special schools, certainly not. There are long waiting lists. And I think we believe that there are instances where there are children that are at special schools who don't need to be there. And there are children that need to be there that are not in special schools, and waiting lists are long.
Dikolo di a bulwa ka bontši ba tsona, gone bano di feta ma 25, di tlo fitla go 30, di fete di kwa godimo. Fela ge ka 2014 a fitla le le tše nnyane kudu dikolo tše.
Shabangu o re buisane le bana ka dithuto tsa bona le ho lekola dibuka tsa bana tsa sekolo kgafetsa, mme sena se tla thusa ngwana pele e bang a ena le mathata dithutong tsa hae.
early detection is very important. The first step, if a parent has that opportunity, is when before a child starts school readiness assessment. It sort of gives you an indication of where your child is. As a parent, you need to be constantly check on your child's work. I know we are busy parents, and COVID has not helped either, but maybe at the end of the week, or maybe in the evenings, sit down with your child and you ask them what was happening at school, what was your highlight, what were your challenges at school.
Lefapha la Thuto Gauteng le re surprise o entswe diteko tse mmalwa hore ho kgone ho bona hore o lokelwa ke sekolo sa boemo bofeng, mme ho ya ka di-psychologist tsa Lefapha la Thuto o lokelwa ke sekolo se ikgethileng. Ngwana e mong le e mong o na le tokelo ya ho fumana thuto Afrika Borwa ho sa natse maemo a hae a bophelo kapa a bokgoni dibukeng. Tokelo ena ho surprise ha ya hatikelwa.
ba re se sa fele go se ya tlhola ke ka fa re fitla mafelong a lenaneo la rena la mabotla e ba le rena gape bekeng e latelago ka mošupologo se ripa gare go tswa go iri ya seswai mathapama o ka re ngwalela go Leihlo La Sechaba @sabc.co.za wa romela fax go 0866131227 go ntaka la rena la Facebook o ka ba le poledišano le rena gona fao lenaneo la rena le gona gape go YouTube Theletša Thobela FM le Sedi FM le Motsweding FM mošupologo mesong a be boroko.